Ademola Lookman, this is a video for you, man. Because time and time again, I am seeing that you are getting disrespected. Like what? Okay, I'm not talking to Ademola Lookman. I'm talking to you lot. What's up, guys? Also, Burkinio is over there. He's been banished because he keeps falling down. But yeah, Ademola Lookman is in a bit of a predicament. And it's been ongoing for a while. And I think I've decided to make this video now because he recently had another incident with another Atalanta manager, where Ivan Juric, new Atalanta coach, former coach of like Southampton, started grabbing up on Lookman whilst he was getting subbed off the pitch. And only because Lookman was annoyed about getting substituted. He is supposed to be the main guy. You know, when you take off your star player in a clutch moment in a game, of course, they have every right to be angry. But the last thing you should be doing is putting your hands on that player, especially if you're not seen as someone that is respectable. This is not the likes of Arsene Wenger, you know, putting his arm around a player when he's coming off the pitch. This is Ivan Juric, someone who has not been at the club for long and is not a legacy manager. He would make a move to Everton in January of 2017, where we saw some signs of greatness, with a statement of intent against Manchester City, then a stint at RB Leipzig. And during that stint at RB Leipzig, he would score 7 goals and get 4 assists, all in the 2017/18 season from around 28 appearances, showcasing his ability to adapt to different leagues. Then he would experience mixed fortunes playing at the likes of Fulham and Leicester. And I think everyone remembers that penalty that I think he took for Fulham. It was like the last kick of the game and he went to chip the ball and it didn't come off properly. Hopefully we get a clip in this bit. But then after casting himself out of the Premier League, he would go on to create a legacy that would go under the radar at Atalanta, with the pinnacle of his time there being a hat-trick that he would score in the Europa League final of 2024, etching his name in football history by scoring a hat-trick in the final. A hat-trick in a final against Bayer Leverkusen, a team who were unbeaten in all competitions that year. And this wasn't no meaty hat-trick, you know, a bad hat-trick. This wasn't a stinker hat-trick, one goal off the shin, 1 goal off the shoulder, 1 goal off the booty. Nah, this was a proper hat-trick, with disgusting finishes that involved nutmegging a man and putting it into the top bins. You know, getting played in behind and hitting it with the weak foot and putting it again into the top corner. This game had it all for this Lookman performance. He was ridiculing Bayer Leverkusen's team, ending a 51 game unbeaten streak and the hopes of Leverkusen fans doing a treble unbeaten. We hadn't seen someone score a hat-trick in a European final since Pierno Prati in 1969. But Lookman had just come out from nowhere. Premier League fans had remembered him and said, wait, is that Ademola? And since joining Atalanta in 2022, he was a consistent performer, with 34 goals and 20 assists in 89 appearances for the club. Those numbers being achieved as, of course, a winger. He wasn't starting up top, with his 2023/24 season being particularly notable, where he would achieve 17 goals and 10 assists. And eventually he would get recognition globally, with nominations to winning the African Player of the Year and being a crucial part of a Nigerian run in 2023. And despite his heroics for his club, he faced criticism from his manager at the time, Gasperini, including public disagreements, public arguments, and everything just being out there. You don't want to be fighting your manager in the back rooms and have it all out in the papers. Times where Gasperini was literally coming out in conferences and outwardly saying that Lookman wasn't good enough. Gasperini's public comments often focused on Lookman just not being at the levels that he needed him to be. And the situation has just escalated on and on with managers in Lookman's career, because ever since Gasperini's been out and Lookman stayed firm and stayed at Atalanta, Atalanta went and got Juric. Juric being a manager that has not really proven himself at any other club that is known and has disrespected Lookman publicly again. With of course the incident being the one that we briefly talked about at the start of this video, where Lookman was being subbed off in a Champions League game and Juric would put his hands on him after Lookman was upset about the substitution. And this is it. This is where this situation comes to a close, because Ademola Lookman, you have to make the decision, bro. You got to leave Atalanta, because not only is Atalanta, you know, not providing you with a home, but they are also not even the best team in Italy that you could be playing for. You could be playing for way better sides that are within your league in a system that suits you. But also you have shown in recent years the capabilities to play in big games and turn up for bigger clubs. So why not force a move in January? Get out of this club, because time and time again, players are forcing their way out of clubs and it seems to work. We can't have the likes of Alexander Isak doing it and Johan Wissa doing it for hardly any reason, and a guy like Ademola Lookman not doing it for an even better reason to. You need to get out of that club and start playing football, especially because you are at the time where you could be going into a prime peak in your career. Look at the age of someone like Ousmane Dembele and how much he's achieved in the later stages of his 20s. Lookman is nearly in that bracket and could also, on his day, be just as good. I know it's crazy to say, but when it comes to individuality, technical ability on a ball and just the ability to take on your defender, Ademola Lookman has that. He just needs a coach to put his arm around him, get him in the right system and make the most of it. Just imagine him in a system like Arsenal on that left hand side, what he could do, what damage he can do. And I actually don't think that Arsenal would ever be looking at a guy like Lookman. They would probably look for someone that is they would probably look for someone who's a bit younger in that position of left wing. But let's say Arsenal were to get Rafael Leao. That could be a move that triggers someone like Lookman to go to AC Milan. This is a situation that we've seen time and time again with many other players. But Lookman's situation is in dire need, because you can't keep getting disrespected publicly and stay firm at a club that you're not wanted at no more. Just leave. Right, Bruquinho? Doesn't Lookman have to leave? Is Bruquinho even in shot? Or am I just... Yeah, he's there. Bro, Bruquinho said leave. So leave. Anyways, peace.